Hey y'all, and we're back for another episode of Midweek Faith, and we have a new moon coming up on Thursday, November 20th, and it's a new moon in Scorpio. So I can only imagine that everyone is feeling their emotions, especially the ones that are deeply hidden. So it might be a moment where you feel like it's kind of time to tell the truth, or it's time to be honest, or it's time to get it all out there and really say your piece, if you will. So, as we dive in, the cards are kind of ready to flow to you all. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our water signs, okay? So for our water signs, we have Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And what are we showing, asking, or telling our water signs today? We're telling our water signs that you may be in a moment of thinking about your childhood memories, reminiscing, okay, thinking about how far you've come, the places you've been, how far, how you climb the mountains that you have climbed, and the peaks you've reached, right? So you might be in a space of celebration, but you might be also having fear and anxiety around that, okay? So you might be feeling like stressed about, should I celebrate? Is it too early to celebrate? But the actual answer is no. Like, you shouldn't be hesitant about celebrating, okay? And what you really should understand is that the reason why you're questioning this is because you have this veil over your eyes that's causing you to feel like you're unsure. You're just very unsure, okay? So we need to release the fear and understand that it is through honesty, unveiling these secrets, and allowing ourselves to live in our truth that we regain our composure, okay? So remember that it's about you finding the mental strength and you thriving and believing, you embracing the growth and trusting in the promise, okay? The promise to you that everything is going to be okay, that your wishes are going to be granted. And you need to know that your thoughts dominate your feelings, and we need to be in control of our emotions to an extent, right? We don't want to be numb, but we do want to have control. And what this is about is your perception, how you view things, water signs, okay? So please don't misuse that intuition and talk yourself into a bad situation, because really, what this is about is you focusing less on the materials and you focusing more on what has actually occurred, because you are on the right track. You're getting those confirmations. You're also in a season of changing your mind, water sign, and that is very, very beautiful. But you must remember that it is important that you compromise in situations, never ourselves. Remember, we've been saying that for a while, okay? And know that, like, when you find strength and healing, every step becomes a sense of release and taking your power back, okay? So embrace that vulnerability, water signs. Really dig in to how you're feeling and release it. It's a time to release, and it's a time to set new intentions and really move forward with how you want your life to look, realizing that it's all about your choices. It's all about the choice of thought and then put method into action, okay? Because your wishes can definitely come true. It's about you believing that they will and setting worthy goals, okay, to let people know, or let God know, or let the spirits know, or however you believe, that this is where and how I need to be blessed. I'm ready for my blessing now. Okay, so that's going to be for our water signs. So for our air signs, we will have Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And what are we asking, showing, or telling our air signs right now? We are telling our air signs that it's time to come home. It's time to take care of yourself, air signs. It's time to release that control and know, like, you are divinely and utterly protected, okay? But in the midst of you knowing how protected you are, air sign, you also should remember to not be too stubborn, right? To not have too much rigidity, to not have too much stubbornness in situations, right? You don't want to lack discipline, lack control, or, have issues of that nature and then want to project or assert them on others. That's not the way of life, right? But something about you, air signs, is you do this beautiful dance of duality, right? Where you seek balance in the chaos, and you kind of try your darnest to maintain a balanced life. But still in that, you might be feeling some fear of moving forward. That may be like rooted in maybe some stagnation, and those are all things that you kind of don't like. Also, if we really think about it, air signs, it's also very important that you remember that you must be fueled by passion. We can't hold anyone else's vision dearer or closer than our own. Okay, so just remember, you want to be honest, you want to be true, you want to be transparent, and you want to trust your path. Okay, we no longer want to associate in any areas that feel negative, okay, air signs. And we also might struggle occasionally in going back to not necessarily our old ways, but maybe having relationships that are rooted in our old ways. And I know that can be difficult, but this is a moment of transparency and honesty for you. So you might be looking deeper in the area of, what is coming next, and who are my friends, and do I have any friends, and do I like the friends that I have, right? And when you're doing that, I think that can cause like indecision in your process of decision making. And so just remember, seek the truth. This new moon in Scorpio is about seeking the truth. And this is a moment of, time for you to be a little selfish and take the time to think about what your happiness is in a more simplified form, one that is less tied to monetary association and more tied to internal actual joy. And by the way, the key to finding joy is actually knowing what you like to do and what brings you joy. So it can be a passion project if you let it. And in that, while you're doing that, what will happen is you'll clear the path, you'll transform, and you'll rise. And if you feel like you've already done that, you still may be experiencing a little bit of the stagnation, but don't worry. Sometimes it's okay to maybe feel less motivated in the moment. And I think those are the moments when you kind of have to turn inward, if you will. Okay. But trust me, you're almost there. And remember, it's important for you to act with clarity. Okay. Be very clear. And, keep that perspective of positivity that you have, the way that you view others, your freedom, your adventure, and maintain that and use what you learn along the way as hidden keys to the doors that may look like obstacles in front of you at first. Okay, air signs. For our fire signs, we will have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And what are we saying to our fire signs? We are saying that it is very important for you to plan wisely. Okay, fire signs. And while you're planning wisely, you also need to beware and careful, cautious, and pay attention to your actions, the actions of others, and your sense of carelessness when it comes to other people. When we're creating, cultivating, curating this plan, we need to remember that we still need to embrace the stillness. Okay, we still need to adapt and thrive. We still need to know that luck flows with change, and the more we make changes and be flexible to go with the flow, the more likely we will have support in the big changes and opportunities that we seek. And just know that, during this time, fire signs, if you're feeling any type of way, if you're feeling any anxiousness, anxiety, depression, sadness, all the things, right? Mental health issues, maybe even your ego and just having that chip on your shoulder that can feel heavy sometimes, just know that this is a tide of transition. Okay, you just need to embrace the tide and flow and go with the flow of it. Sometimes it's going to be high tide and sometimes it's going to be low tide, and you have to know what you can do what to do when it's high tide and what to do when it's low tide, especially what to do that benefits you. Okay, fire signs. Also, just know, the small wins are what counts. It's really about the strides that you make on a daily. If you have unexpected changes, I know it can weigh on our soul and spirit, but just know that that doesn't mean that you're not successful. That just means that we're on to a new beginning and there's something new that's about to come, start, pop off, and really take you on your way. But it's really important for you to remember to not overindulge in anything, whether it's gossiping, whether it's even if it's lacking a social life. Don't overindulge in being in the house too much or being outside too much, right? Don't overindulge in, the things that that hurt you or the things that that better you. Everything needs to be in balance, okay? And you may have a time, or you may be in a time where you have to make decisions, or you have to, do some planning, right? But when you do make those decisions, I want you to remember that sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. Just remember that you've worked really hard. You're worthy of everything that you desire, and we're not going to settle. Really important right now to seek clarity, okay, and seek that balance, because if you are feeling the ways that we mentioned in the beginning, maybe some anxiousness, depression, even, just a chip on your shoulder, right? We know that you're not vibrationally aligned with who your true self is. And so maybe that means you have some imbalance within your energy system, your chakra system, your body, and your energy in general, right? However you call it. And it might be because you might need to organize your home more. You might need to organize your life more. You might need to get yourself a planner, fire signs, whatever it's going to take to really get you motivated on the future, okay? Because we're not dwelling in the past anymore. And once you do that, you will be able to really feel that release, now I can go out and I can get it. But there's some things that I had to do first. And once you do them, I promise you, you will feel the disorder or the orderly feelings that you feel about maybe your environment or what's happening. You will feel them come into order, and you will be very happy with that decision, okay? But if not, then you may not feel happy, and at the point that you don't, then we can, reroute. However, if you do decide to keep yourself focused and embrace your courageousness that you have, it will be a victorious outcome no matter what, fire signs. These obstacles are nothing. This is really you on your journey to success, staying ambitious and really disciplined, fire signs, because we know you're hardworking. We know you have what it takes. I think this is just about, it seems like, locking in. Okay, more about locking in, and less about what it looks like to others. Next, we will have our earth signs. So for our earth signs, we will have Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And what are we asking, showing, or saying to our earth signs right now? We will say, earth signs, maybe you have a little bit of lower energy. Maybe you feel like, you are trying to make the best decisions that you can, right? You're trying to do the best that you can, earth signs. But at the same time, you still might be feeling a little like it's not exactly where you want it to be, or maybe you're not as enthusiastic as you thought you would be accomplishing or hitting these things that you've done right and checking these things off the list. Okay, but it's really important that you remember to not be hasty, to really take your time, to not be too rambunctious and in a rush. Paying attention to your movement, your freedom, and the energy that you exude, right? And then also embracing the moments of downtime and silence that you may have as well. There are many more things for you to discover, Earth sign, and it's just a matter of you really being less focused on self priority and more focused on the priority of goodness and joy, right? I want you to care about yourself. I want you to prioritize yourself, but not in a way that is rooted in ego, but in a way that's rooted in true, pure joy. And what this is going to require of you is to seek a lot of balance, because, to a certain extent, Earth sign, you might be a little overloaded, overburdened, kind of stressed, having the weight of the world on your shoulders, right? And you have to find like some serenity and some refuge for some peacefulness. But it's also really important that you stand strong in your beliefs, but also in accountability. It's imperative that you listen to the whispers of the soul, so that you can go in the direction of where you're told to go, so that you can receive the abundance that is truly waiting for you. I just think that you have so much going on in your outer world that you may not be able to actually hear what's happening in your inner world. So, it's really important that we silence the outside, silence the mind, and move forward, right? Really making that decision to move forward. And also remember, Earth signs, justice and karma is for everyone. Where energy goes, energy flows. And so just like a boomerang, energy goes and it comes right back. And so it is not in our position to be disruptive to the nature of what other people have going on. But at the same time, it is important to speak your truth and be honest. And as long as you are honest, that is all that matters. Okay, Earth sign. Also, you might be feeling like you're having a lack of inspiration. You might be feeling like a lack of faith. You're wondering, when is it my turn? And actually, we talked about this last week too, or at our full moon phase, I should say. But I know you have been seizing every minute. I know you have been working toward your goals. However, just to change the perspective a little bit, I just want to remind you to embrace every moment with purpose, even your downtime, your time with your family, your time alone, your time when you are noticing that you have the time or a few moments, right? That is how you will get to that place of self-discovery, so you can hear the whispers. Earth signs, we need to limit those self-limiting beliefs. We need to stop being uncertain. We need to release that energy. Let it go. Stop waiting and know that we're not in lack, Earth signs, okay? Drift along the river of release and really release your thoughts of when is it my turn. Really let it go from deeply within you so that you can experience divine flow, because I'm not sure that you have exactly experienced it yet. Your heart's desire is being waited for, and God is truly waiting to hear you sing that song. Okay. It's really important that you share your gifts, that you release that sadness that you may carry, the grief, and know that the new beginnings are here. They're here right now. But it's all about how you look at it. It's all about the actions you take, the choices you make, and understanding that you will have exactly what you desire. However, you must be fully immersed in all you desire in general. That's a testament to you seeking solitude in reconnection with God and that spark of a relationship that you have with God that's going to ignite your creativity. Stay aligned with your highest dreams and ideals to find your success, Earth signs, okay? No more insecurity, just turning the page, embracing who we are, knowing that growth is a journey. We're getting better with time, and you are worth the effort, the time, and the engagement. And all of this effort you've put into yourself to build your life is paying off and will pay off in the exact way that you desire. So I hope that found you well. I hope that that information is going to help you plan out how you're going to spend your new moon on Thursday, November 20th. And I really wish for you that you release all of the secrets and all of the burdens and all of the struggles, and know that you are doing the very best you can, and ultimately that is rewarded if you are doing the best you can. And only you know if you are or if you're not, right? Yeah, I love you so, so much. I hope this helped, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye.